going to be doing tonight is talking a little bit about knives, about the difference between sharpening and honing, and then I'm going to be showing you about cuts. For instance, how to cut a small to medium dice on an onion and on a pepper. I'm going to be showing you about cutting a celery into probably like a very small dice. I'm going to be showing you how to mince garlic, and I'm going to be showing you how to supreme an orange. It's very nice for presentation. Okay, a little bit about knives. People come into my classes and they have this arsenal of knives. And many of the knives, they've either not used because they really don't know how, or they've used them really incorrectly, and oftentimes they've never sharpened their knives. Again, people come in with a honing tool like this, and they really don't know what it's for because there's a misperception that this is for sharpening your knife. It is not. And I'll show you. Okay, this is called a honing tool, and what it does is it puts the edge back on a knife that has gone just basically out of alignment, because every time a knife, the very sharp tip of a knife, comes in contact with product or a cutting board, the tip could be thrown out of alignment, and the knife acts as if it's not sharp, but it in fact could be very sharp. But what you need to do is hone and get that edge back. So there's a couple of different ways to hone. For beginners, what I suggest doing is taking your honing tool, as long as your knife is sharp, and by putting the honing tool on a cloth on the table, what you're going to do is get probably about a 20-degree angle between the knife, between the blade and the honing tool, and just pull it lengthwise on the blade toward you. Okay? There's another way that you can do it. I don't recommend this for beginners, but kind of in the wrist. Either way, you want to get that edge back onto the tip and get that blade nice and sharp, and this is how we check. In terms, we don't. This evening we're not going to be talking really about sharpening, but knives really do need to be sharp, and that'll be for another night. Okay, here we go. What I'm going to do is show you how to cut an onion. So there are two ends to the onion, the root end and the stem end. So with what's called the claw grip, I'm going to hold the onion, and with a nice tight grip on the handle of the knife, this is my chef's knife, I'm going to make a little notch. Okay. Very important to keep your board clean, and you'll see why in a minute. Okay, now with my hand that I'm going to be holding the product, I'm going to cut my onion in half. Okay. And it's at this point that I remove the skin, not before this. Again, clean the board. Take the skin off of one half of the onion, and then take the skin off of the other half. We're not going to do any cutting yet. Okay, now, in order to make a dice, what we have to do is, on each half, we're going to make, probably 3 horizontal slices. Nice and clean. We don't want to push too hard on our knife, and that's why your knife, the sharper it is, the better it is, because you're not exerting any pressure. So what we want to do is put our hand horizontal to the cutting board, and you're going to make 3 horizontal slits. Now it's at this point where I will oftentimes take a different knife that's even thinner than my chef's knife, and this is called a santoku. You notice the difference with the chef's knife is usually bigger, and with a sharp point, the santoku is a little bit different in shape. It has a rounded tip, and then it has the ridges on the side. These happen to have smaller, thinner ridges as opposed to the fatter ridges on some other santoku knives. But I often use this knife at this point because it's a little thinner and it glides through the onion a little bit better. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm going to do my other half. Okay, and I'm actually going to make a 4th cut. Okay. It's at this point where we're going to do our vertical cuts. And with our claw grasp, hold your onion tight and hold your knife tight. And we're just going to go right through it. I don't know if you can see this. Okay, we're going to do the other half. And then I'll go back to my chef's knife. And now we have the sawing motion, and this is what's going to be consistent through all the product that we're going to be cutting. At the tip of the knife or a part of the knife needs to be in contact with the cutting board at all times, and you'll say why. Nice and clean cut, down, forward, and this way we're getting all our dice the same size. Sharp knife, no problems. And here we go with our second one. And we're going to hold, and the reason why keeping the root end intact is a great idea is because you can hold this and the pieces don't fly all over the place. And one more slice and we're good. Okay. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to do another onion, and I'm going to make slices, nice and thin. So, here we go. The stem end, we're going to do a notch, cut. I'm only going to do half. Always keep your board clean. And now we're going to do nice thin slices. And so on. Okay, so there we go. Okay, next we're going to do a pepper. And again, always keep the board nice and clean. I'm going to start out with a heavier knife because the skin of the pepper is dense, and sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to cut through. So we're going to cut off one end, and then we're going to cut off the other end. Usually prick it and like so. With our paring knife, I'm going to use this. Paring knife is used to cut the inside and get rid of the seeds and the pith. And it's at this point we can take our knife and cut it right in half. And what I will do is we want to get rid of this, so I oftentimes just take my paring knife and cut off that white pith. Okay, now if we want to just do some, let's say, slices, and here we go. We just, again, same rocking motion. Fingers tight, don't have the fingers out, and nice and thin slices. Or if we want to do a dice, this is how we would do it. We would make our slices. And then put them together, and we're going to make the same. If we want to cook the peppers and the diced onions together, we want to keep the sizes pretty consistent. Then they'll all cook at about the same time. Okay, and that's that. Okay. Next, I'm going to be cutting a celery. For those of you who like celery but don't really like a large piece of it in your mouth, in your salad, or celery is really nice, but if it's too large, I don't find it very appetizing. So what we're going to do is, it is circular. It's like a nice piece of celery it's a half circle. So what we want to do is get some nice thin slices. So we're just going to take our knife and cut our slices. Okay. And I would do the whole piece of celery, but just for now, what we're going to do is make thin slices, as thin as we can. And keep your fingers away from the blade of the knife. Put all the slices together, or the strips, and again, same motion. Keeping your fingertips closed. And there it is. Nice small little dice. And that's actually even way bigger than I like, so I would continue to chop. When you're moving food, any kind of product around on the cutting board, you don't ever want to use the blade end, you want to use the other end. Because if you use the blade end, you're going to be really doing a job on the sharpness of the knife. Okay, so I've done a lot of cutting and chopping. It's time to hone again. Okay, now we're going to be doing some garlic. Okay, where are we here? Okay, what I usually do when I have a nice fresh clove of garlic, like so, or bulb, I'm going to take my knife and get a couple of cloves out. And here we go. So what you want to do is take a heavier knife, smash the garlic, and cut the tip off. Now, this is where I use my paring knife. And this is, well, it's pretty new garlic, but you see the part in the inside there? We want to remove that because cooking that could impart bitterness to your food, so you want to get rid of that part. Now, garlic it's a beautiful thing. The more you work garlic, the stronger it gets. So if you have a preparation that you want to use the garlic, but you don't really want such a strong flavor, then you can just slice it. On the other hand, if you really, really like garlic and you want to really infuse your preparation with minced garlic, you want to just continue to chop it. But be careful as to when you put the chopped garlic into your hot pan, because you could really ruin your dish if it's burned. And the last thing I want to show you is what we call how to supreme an orange. Okay. Here's how we do it. Okay, we're going to cut off both ends of the orange so that it sits on the cutting board. And with a sharp knife, okay, this is, believe it or not, this is, I can feel that it's out of alignment now. Better. Okay, so what we're going to do is cut off our orange skin. And this is the same way you would peel a melon. Okay. Cutting an onion, cutting an orange like this is really nice in the summertime if you want to do a garden salad, but have some fresh orange in it. It's always really nice, but you don't want the pith. So what we want to do is take a nice sharp knife and go in between the skin. Okay, and we need a really sharp knife. My paring knife has gone out of alignment as well. But this is what you get. You get the nice orange piece without that skin on it. So, take another knife. Oops. Okay. One more slice. Okay, and there it is. So that's all for today. Cook, enjoy, and see you again.